Some people were not born just to exist, work and repeat cycles. They came for something greater. They came to remember who they truly are. They feel it even before they understand it. A silent restlessness begins to grow within. It's as if something is about to awaken, even though the world around them keeps insisting that everything is normal. This awakening doesn't come with warnings, clear signs, or logical explanations. It manifests as a strange feeling that something is out of place. But that something is you. Suddenly, life feels disconnected. Paths lose meaning. And everything that once seemed part of your identity begins to feel borrowed, as if it was never truly yours. It is at this moment that a rare symptom reveals itself. An inner movement that cannot be explained, but that transforms everything. It's not a crisis. It's a spiritual activation, an ancient code being remembered in the soul. And this code is not given to everyone. It only manifests in those with energy strong enough to withstand the expansion that is coming. The chosen ones carry this symptom, and because of that, their journeys are different. The world around them may not understand, but within them there is a quiet certainty. Something is awakening, something that can no longer be ignored. And no matter how confusing it seems, there is purpose in it. You are not breaking. You are being rebuilt for what you came to fulfill. In this video, we will reveal 5 symptoms that appear only in the strongest spiritual chosen ones. And one of them, the most powerful, will be the definitive sign that you are not here by accident. If this message resonates with you, follow the channel and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because the chosen ones do not awaken alone. They awaken one another. You begin to feel that the life you built no longer fits who you are. Nothing drastic happened, but something has changed. Your days feel repetitive. Your conversations feel automatic. There's a growing distance between what you live and what your soul is asking for. You try to keep going, but you feel that something essential was left behind. The people around you don't notice. To their eyes, everything looks fine. But inside, you feel like a stranger in your own routine. What once was comfortable now feels suffocating. It's not ingratitude. It's awareness. Your soul begins to reject what is small, what is limited, what has expired. And this rejection is silent, yet powerful. You start questioning yourself. Why did I accept this for so long? When did I stop listening to myself? You find yourself thinking about old versions of who you used to be, and feeling nostalgia for something you can't even define. It's not nostalgia. It's the beginning of the separation between the self that survives and the self that awakens. And that's frightening. In this process, a desire arises to drop everything, to go away, to start over. But it's not escape, it's calling. An inner force begins to push you away from what is artificial. Everything that is appearance, disguise, or obligation begins to lose its power. And what is true begins to hurt when it's ignored. The strangest part is that even without knowing what to do, you know what you can no longer do. Even without knowing where to go, you know you can't stay where you are. And this is the point where many get stuck, because the old life no longer fits and the new one has not yet revealed itself. But the chosen one keeps going anyway. There's a silent discomfort, as if your soul were cramped inside a space far too small. Nothing external has changed, but inside you everything is different. You begin to realize you can no longer pretend that everything is fine. You can no longer shape yourself to fit into places that demand silence when you were made to express yourself. You try to follow the same script you've learned. Wake up, work, talk, smile. But each gesture feels like acting. It's as if you're playing a role that no longer represents you. And even when you try to convince yourself that it's just a phase, The feeling returns, stronger, clearer, more urgent. You notice that the things that once motivated you now only exhaust you. The goals that once seemed so important become irrelevant. The conversations that used to entertain you now bore you. It's as if the world has lost its flavor, but in truth, it's you who have begun to awaken the taste of the soul. And when the soul awakens, there is no return. The old version of you begins to dissolve, not out of regret, but out of growth. You don't reject who you were, you just understand that it no longer serves you. And you begin to move, not because you know where you're going, but because you can no longer bear to stay where you are. This is the first symptom of the chosen ones, the silent end of an identity that no longer sustains your truth. It doesn't matter your age, your profession, or your achievements. When the time comes, the soul calls. And those who are chosen feel it. They feel it in their body, their mind, their heart, and everything begins to transform. When spiritual awakening deepens, one of the first visible impacts is in relationships. People who once understood you begin to feel distant. Conversations change in tone. Exchanges lose their spark. You feel as if you're on a different channel, speaking a new language that no one else seems to understand. You try to maintain the bonds. You try to laugh at the same jokes, take interest in the same things, give the same old answers. But something blocks. The flow that once existed simply doesn't return. You're present, but you feel absence. You're in a group, yet you feel alone, not because of a lack of affection, but because of an excess of sensitivity. Some bonds break without conflict, simply through misalignment. Others try to remain, but the energy no longer sustains them. And when you try to force it, you feel tired, uncomfortable, even sad. You start to wonder if you're the one who's changed. And the answer is yes. But that's not a flaw, it's growth. It doesn't mean you're better than anyone. It just means your vibration has changed. And relationships built on an old frequency cannot survive your new truth. And that hurts. It hurts to realize that not everyone will come with you, that some important connections may have already fulfilled their purpose, and that now the path requires space. It's in this phase that many give up. They try to return to the old world just so they don't feel alone. But the chosen ones feel something stronger. They feel that the current emptiness is, in truth, a fertile field. It's within that emptiness that new, more aligned connections will emerge. But only after the old ones are released. You realize you can no longer force yourself. You can no longer laugh out of politeness, agree out of habit, maintain bonds out of fear. Your soul asks for truth. And where there is no truth, your energy contracts. That doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. And consciousness requires courage. Some people start to avoid you. Others try to pull you back to your old self. You may feel strange, out of place, even judged. But deep down you know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Because even with the pain of separation, you feel a lightness, the kind that only comes when you stop pretending. The temporary solitude is part of the process. It's like a silence between two seasons. It doesn't last forever, but it's essential. In that silence, you hear yourself more clearly. You perceive your true needs. You recover pieces of yourself that were forgotten. And only after that do the new connections arise, more sincere, freer, more truthful. This is the second symptom of the chosen ones, the breaking of connections that cannot keep up with your expansion. No matter how much you tried to save them, what doesn't accompany your evolution dissolves, and what remains grows stronger. This is the spiritual sieve that separates the noise from what truly matters. What once seemed normal begins to affect you in ways you can't always explain. Sounds, lights, smells, crowded places, empty conversations. Everything becomes more intense. The noise the world makes deeply unsettles you. And it's not hypersensitivity. It's energetic sensitivity. It's your vibrational field awakening to something that was once dormant. You begin to notice when a place carries heavy energy, when a person is lying, when a conversation is empty. It doesn't matter if everything looks fine on the outside. Inside, something tells you, not here. And even if you try to ignore it, your body feels it. Your chest tightens, your head feels heavy, your mind gets tired. This sensitivity isn't something you choose to have. It arises, and with it comes the need to distance yourself from excess. You start declining invitations you once accepted without thinking. You feel the urge to spend more time alone, to stay close to nature, to retreat into silence. And this may be misunderstood by those around you. People start saying you're acting strange, isolated, disconnected. But you know that's not the case. You're more present than ever. You're just no longer willing to numb yourself to fit in. And that awareness is liberating, because now you understand that sensitivity isn't weakness. It's spiritual intelligence. You begin filtering what you watch, what you listen to, what you consume. Shows that once entertained you now make you uncomfortable. News, social media, negative conversations. All of it begins to affect you in ways it never did before. And this new filter doesn't come from logic. It comes from the soul. It's your soul protecting you now. Your body also changes. You might develop intolerance to certain foods, insomnia, sudden fatigue, the urge to sleep more, or to wake up very early. It's not illness. It's readjustment. Your energy is rising, and your body needs to adapt to this new rhythm. It's a delicate process, but profoundly necessary for those being prepared for something greater. This phase teaches you to respect your limits, even when they don't make sense to others. You begin to choose where to place your presence, with whom to share your energy. You realize that saying no isn't selfish. It's protection. And you learn that you don't need to explain yourself to those who don't feel what you feel. Little by little, you start hearing your intuition more clearly. You begin sensing environments even before stepping into them. You can detect the intentions behind words. You feel when someone carries heavy energy, even if they're smiling. And this changes the way you relate to the world. Because now, you don't just observe, you feel. Spiritual sensitivity is a rare gift, though at first it may feel like a burden. It distances you from the superficial, but, in return, connects you with what is true. You begin to see beauty in small things, to feel moved by what once went unnoticed, to find wonder in silences that once made you uncomfortable. This is the third symptom of the chosen ones, the energetic sensitivity that transforms the way you live, perceive, and interact with the world. It's not exaggeration, it's evolution. You're becoming someone who feels deeply because you were made to perceive what many ignore. And within that feeling lies a silent power that no one can take from you. There comes a moment in the awakening of the chosen ones when something inside you simply switches off the desire to compete. It's not discouragement nor loss of ambition. It's clarity. What once fed your ego no longer feeds your soul. Winning no longer means what it used to mean. And that silent turning point changes everything. You can keep doing what you're good at. You can keep reaching goals, achieving results. But the impulse to compare yourself, to prove yourself, to surpass others, disappears. Competition, which once seemed natural, now feels empty. You start to ask yourself, why did I want this so much? Was it really my desire? Or was it the world's desire living in me? It's as if you woke up from a collective trance. While many are still running to be seen, you start running inward. External victory loses its shine if it doesn't come with inner peace. And you realize that success now has another definition for you. Success has become alignment. And that changes all your priorities. You no longer care about seeming like the best. You care about being true. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. Not because you think you're superior, but because you finally understand that you never needed to compete to deserve to exist. That awareness dissolves the armor, and in its place enters authenticity. While the world fights for attention, you seek silence. While many strive to please, you learn to please yourself. This shift in focus places you in a rare position, that of someone who creates their own standard. You no longer need others' validation because what now guides your life doesn't come from the outside. At first, it might seem like you're getting lost, like you've lost the rhythm, like you're falling behind, but you're not. You've simply left the race, and now you walk towards something that holds true meaning for you. Even if no one else understands, even if there are no medals, stages, or likes along the way, you begin to observe others striving with more compassion. You've been there. You've wanted to be seen. You've wanted to prove that you are capable. But now you see how exhausting that is, how it disconnects you. And you realize how light it feels to follow a path where you don't fight for space. You build your own, with purpose. This phase brings you closer to your essence. It quiets the noise. It removes the rush. You begin doing things out of joy, expression, mission. And this way of living is so rare that it appears strange to those still trapped in the logic of performance. But you're no longer there. You've already crossed the invisible line that separates ego from soul. The desire to serve takes the place of the need to win. You want to impact, not impress. You want to contribute, not compete. And that changes everything you touch, your creations, your words, your choices. Everything begins to carry your real energy. It's no longer about performance. It's about presence. This is the fourth symptom of the chosen ones, the liberation from competition. When winning stops being a goal and becomes a side effect of alignment with your mission, you no longer need to chase recognition, because when you are truly being who you are, the right world will find you, at the right time, in the right way. At some point in the awakening, something subtle yet profound begins to happen. Your perception of time changes. You look at the clock and can't understand how an hour passed so quickly. At other times, you feel as though you lived a lot in just a few minutes. It's as if time stopped following the normal rules. And, in a way, it truly does. This happens because you are leaving the mental mode and entering the consciousness mode. The mind lives in the past and the future. Consciousness lives in the now. And the more awakened you are, the more present you become. When you are present, time doesn't run. It dissolves, and what remains is the intensity of the moment. People around you keep following schedules, deadlines, goals, but you struggle to keep up, not because you are disorganized, but because your body and soul are responding to something deeper, inner time. You realize that what's on the calendar isn't always aligned with what your energy is ready to live in that moment. At first, this may look like disorganization. You might even blame yourself for not functioning as before. But gradually, you understand. It's not disorder. It's another kind of order. It's the universe reorganizing your rhythm from the inside out. And when you accept that, you begin to live more lightly. Things flow. The right people appear. The answers come. You also start noticing synchronicities more often. You meet people at the exact moment you need to. You receive messages that answer your questions. You feel that everything is being guided, even if you don't know how. And that brings you peace. A peace that doesn't come from control, but from trust. You understand that you are being guided by something greater than the clock. This is the fifth symptom of the chosen ones, the collapse of the linear timeline. It's not distraction, it's realignment. Your soul no longer wants to live by the clock. It wants to live by the truth of each moment. And this change, though subtle, completely transforms the way you exist in the world. You stop running, and finally, you begin to live. This is the point of no return. The most powerful among all the symptoms. The one that, when it appears, changes everything. You simply can no longer pretend to be who you are not. It doesn't matter how much you try to please, adapt, smile, or belong. The body locks up. The soul refuses. And any attempt to force a role begins to hurt deeply. You may even continue for a while in the same functions, in the same places. But inside, it's already over. The disconnection is so great that it becomes impossible to ignore. You hear yourself saying something you don't feel, and your throat tightens. Smiling out of politeness becomes a painful effort. Tolerating subtle lies becomes intolerable. There comes a moment when you begin to feel an inner force that you can't explain, a sense that there is something specific you came here to do. It's not ambition, nor a desire to be seen. It's a silent calling, an invisible push from the soul saying, "You have something to deliver, and you can't postpone it any longer." This feeling shows up in the details, a discomfort in the job that once felt comfortable, a lack of enthusiasm for routine tasks, a growing urge to do something, even if you don't yet know what it is. You can't clearly see the path, but you feel that it exists, and you feel that you need to start moving, even without the complete map. The most challenging part is that this mission doesn't have a name yet. You can't describe it clearly. Sometimes it appears in glimpses, in a dream, in an idea that moves you, in a conversation that sparks something inside you. But soon after, the veil drops again, and the mystery continues. This is a delicate phase, because the mind wants explanations, plans, and concrete objectives. But the soul doesn't operate that way. It works through signs, synchronicities, and pulsations. And you have to learn to trust the invisible, to take steps even when you can't see the ground, to say yes to something you can't yet name, but that you know is real. At this point, many try to turn back. They try to convince themselves it was just a phase, but the restlessness doesn't go away. The discomfort doesn't fade. On the contrary, it grows, because your energy can no longer tolerate being out of mission. You can keep living normally, but you'll feel you're only surviving. And that's not what you came here for. You start letting go of old identities, professions, labels, social roles. All of that begins to feel too small. Not because it has no value, but because it no longer represents who you are. And deep down, you know, your soul is asking for space to manifest itself more authentically, more freely, more truthfully. Even without total clarity, you feel that you need to begin, to create something, to change something, to help someone. The size of the gesture doesn't matter. What matters is alignment. The universe doesn't require you to understand everything, only that you be willing to follow. And as you move forward with faith, the pieces begin to fall into place. Spiritual awakening is not light. It messes things up. It dismantles you. It pulls you away from what is false, even before showing you what is true. It isolates, silences, exposes. And that's why many confuse it with confusion, sadness, or crisis. But it's not a collapse. It's reconstruction. It's not an end. It's a restart. A restart more aligned with who you truly are. You may feel like you're walking alone, but you never were. There are thousands awakening with you, in silence, in secrecy, in different phases of the same journey. Some are still trying to understand what's happening. Others are already helping the next ones awaken. And all of them, without exception, are part of something greater that is still taking shape. There is no formula for awakening. Each soul follows its own time, its own rhythm, its own language. But there is one thing that unites all the chosen ones: the impossibility of continuing to pretend. When your truth calls, you may resist, but you cannot ignore it. And that calling is the greatest gift, even if, at first, it feels like a burden. You didn't come here to repeat patterns. You didn't come to please. You didn't come to fit in. You came to remember who you are, and to live from that remembrance. You came to be a living reflection of awakening consciousness, to show, through your existence, that it is possible to live with soul in a world that insists on superficiality. And no, you don't need to have all the answers right now. All you need is the willingness to listen to your own truth, to take one step at a time, to allow the transformation to continue. The chosen ones do not awaken ready, they awaken willing. And that willingness is already the beginning of everything. If these words have touched something inside you, write in the comments, "I am returning to myself." That simple gesture may be the beginning of something great, for you and for someone who will recognize themselves through you.